Welcome to another exciting Revit video. Today we're going to look at how to place a dormer on a roof. Dormers are particular to 1.5 story houses. They can be on 2.5 story houses as well, but they're usually on a 1.5 story. And what they mean by 1.5 story is that the first floor is a full floor. The second floor is really about half the volume, and it is also in essence, it's really a finished attic area. The way dormers got started back in the old days is someone had a house and they needed more living space, so they turned their attic space. They converted that into some living space. So, of course, they had to add windows. Back in the old days, they did not have air conditioning, so they had to have windows for air circulation and light. And today, of course, dormers just look cool on a house. And it is too, if this is going to be a finished area up in this portion of the house where the attic would normally be, you still need to have a window for means of egress. So a dormer makes a perfect addition to accomplish that. And of course today we have air conditioning, so we're not too worried about the air circulation, but we do want a window for natural light and that means of egress. Dormer, essentially, if you're confused and don't know what a dormer is, this is a dormer. Dormer is constructed of 4 walls, has a front wall here, then there are side walls on each side, and then there's a back wall, even though you really can't tell that there is a back wall. Okay, there's very little of it actually there. And then, of course, you've got the roof with the eaves and everything else involved. So, going back to Revit. You're also going to have your different levels established, your basic levels anyway. So all of that is depending on several different other features of your structure, but you have to have all those different levels. And I am going to go to, it's best to draw this, to design this dormer from top of wall 2. So I'm at top of wall 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to draw a dormer here, and then we're going to duplicate it over here on this side. So we don't have to draw it multiple times. You can actually create the entire dormer and then duplicate the whole thing over to the side, but I find it's easier just to go ahead and, like when you draw the walls, put the walls down, just to duplicate the walls and then do some of the rest of the work in duplicate. And you'll see what I mean. Excuse me. But again, like I said, a dormer is 4 walls, so I need to first before I even start building it, as I'm going to use a detail line. I just went to annotate, clicked on detail line. I want to find the center of my home. I'm going to draw a line right through the center. Okay, and then I'm going to extend this line all the way to the very edge of the roof. And then click escape. So now I can actually find the center of this section. So there is the center of that section, and that's where I can center my dormer. Now your dormer, there's several things that would dictate the size of your dormer. Some of the more simpler things would be like your window. You're going to put a window in it, and typically that window is going to be approximately 3 feet wide. 2.5 to 3 feet. So make sure you make your dormer wide enough to accommodate that window, plus any extra like shutters or anything like that that you would need to put on either side of that window if you want to. So now I'm ready to draw the walls for my dormer. I'm going to click on my walls. I'm going to make sure, check your levels and everything that you're on to make sure that you're placing your walls in the right place. Right now my base constraint says top of wall 2. I don't want that. I want it to be top of, or no, I want it to be level 2. Okay, and now I'm going to simply draw my dormers in various ways you can place your dormers. I'm gonna, typically you'll move it back from the edge of the roof and back from the front walls. It's not 100% necessary to do that. If I had like a wider, wider overhang for like a front porch or something like that, I could probably build it right on top of my bottom floor walls. And that's, typically probably going to be the most desirable anyway. But I'm just showing you how to make a dormer. So I'm going to move it back about 2.5 feet from the edge. And I'm going to click, and I'm going to move my cursor over. I want my dormer to be 5 feet wide, so I'm going to measure 2 foot 6 inches. And then I'm going to go up about 6 to 7 feet. Let's go 6 feet 6 inches. And then I'm going to come over 5 feet, because that is how wide I want my dormer overall. And then connect here. All right. Now, when it comes to using Revit, sometimes you have to remember some small nuances that makes your modeling a bit easier as you go. And one is the orientation of our wall connections. This would make the modeling a little bit difficult like this. So I'm going to take this wall, pull it back a little bit. I'm going to take this wall, pull it over a little bit so it kind of understands that I want that to be the main wall in the back. So now, as you can see, that wall extends all the way from one side to the other, and that just makes for easier modeling later on. And of course, my front wall is already that way, so I'm going to keep it just like it is. My next step is to actually edit some of these walls in my dormer, because right now they extend down into the living space of the house. Obviously, we don't want that. So I am going to go to a 3D view, and I'm going to come over here into my properties dialog and click on section box and open my section box. And then I'm going to move it, and I'm going to cut my dormer in half. And then I'm going to come to my view cube and click on the right side of my view cube so I get a good straight on view of that side and that west wall, the interior portion of that west wall. Okay, now what I need to do to this wall, I'm going to double click on it actually. I'm going to delete this bottom line. Try that again, delete the bottom line. There we go. And I'm going to adjust these lines so that they come up to at least the bottom of the rafters. This one I don't have to adjust. As you see, it's already at the bottom of the rafters pretty well. Or actually, I'm going to move it up just a tad, and I'll show you why here in a second. But I'm going to move this one. I'm going to move it not to the bottom of the rafters, but about halfway through. Okay, now you can move it just to the bottom of the rafters. It's perfectly fine. And to be honest with you, I think I am going to do that. I'm going to go to the rafters because I see that this line already comes right to the rafters right there. Okay, so, and I'm going to click on the line tool to draw a new line from here to here. And now that wall is edited, and it no longer sticks down into the living space. Okay, now I'm going to skew around and fix my section box again. And I'm going to cut this half of my dormer. And I'm going to click on the left side of the view cube to get a good straight on view of the left. Double click. Delete that bottom line. Move this one up to the bottom of the rafters. Okay, oops. I forgot to draw the extra line. Now I can click the green check mark and that wall is edited. Now I can edit this wall, the back wall, which I can just do that from here. Move it straight up, get it right in there. And of course you see it does stick down just a little bit, but they can fix that in construction. And same here, this one sticks down just a little bit. And I don't really want it to, but they can fix that in construction. I don't know if I can move it up because I did not. Yeah, it'll just have to stay there. All right, so now I have adjusted all of my walls. Now, if your dormer is back a little bit more, then this front wall will protrude into the living space a little bit. So you would actually have to adjust that one as well to make sure that it does not do that. And let's see, what is my next step? Okay, my next step is I need to cut a hole. So I'm going to get a good top perspective of this, and I'm going to go to Architecture tab, and there is a dormer thingy right here. It cuts a hole in the roof, as you can see. I'm going to click on that, And first thing, once I get into the dormer tool, is I'm going to select the roof that I'm going to cut out of. So I just click in there, and now it's going to ask me to select these inside lines. Okay, and now I'm going to clean those corners up. All right, corners are all clean. Click check mark, and now we have a hole in our roof for the dormer. Now I am going to place, I'm going to go to top of wall 2, and I'm going to place a roof over that. Click on roof, and let's see, roof is going to go approximately top of wall 2. I might adjust that a little bit later. But on your dormer, of course, you're going to have slopes on each side, but you're not going to have a slope in the front and the back. If you look up here in my status bar or my options bar, I have defines slope turned off. So I can place the back portion of the roof and the front portion of the roof. I'm going to turn define slope back on, and I'm going to place the left side and then the right side. Now that should be a pretty much done dormer. I'm going to click the green check mark. Yes, I want the walls to come up to the roof. Now let's go into our 3D view and check out our handiwork. All right, and there we are. We have a dormer, and of course the height of that dormer can be adjusted. You can always add another level and adjust it by the level if you like, or you can do some offsets and take it up or down, however you want to do that. There is one problem though, as you probably noticed, is that the dormer roof only goes back so far. It does not tie in with the rest of the roof. They've actually provided a tool for that, and to get into that tool, I'm going to click on my dormer roof. And this little tool right here looks just like the roof tool, but it's much smaller, very tiny, and it's join unjoin roof. So I'm going to click on that. Down here I'll get some instructions down in the status bar. Select an edge at the end of the roof that you wish to join. So it's asking me to select the edge of this roof that I wish to join to another roof. Select that, and then I just select the roof itself, and everything's joined. Okay, and as you see, I still have this little gap right here, and all that means is I'm just going to have to adjust the length of those walls, because they should go all the way back until all of it's completely covered. So I'll go back to top of wall 2, and so I can select that. I'm going to temporarily hide that, and then I'm just going to grab this back wall, and I'm going to move it back some foot, maybe something like that. Okay, now I'm going to reset, and now I'm going to go and check my work. Okay, now as you see, I've taken care of that. There's no more gap back here. Everything's all nice and covered. So now that you have a dormer, you can place a window in it. And whatever height you want, kind of want that to be at. And there we go. So there's our dormer. And I've actually forgot to mirror to copy all that stuff over here. So you're going to get to see me copy the hard way of doing this. So I'm going to go to top of wall 2. Or actually, I'm going to pick some things first. I want to hold down the control button, select wall, select window, select this side wall, skew around, select that side wall, select the roof. I want to select the back wall too, but I can't get through to it. I'm pretty sure I can't. So anyway, I've got it all selected. I'm going to go back to top of wall 2. And I'm going to click on mirror, draw axis, and I'm just going to draw that axis right across that center line right there. So mirror, draw axis, boom. And I have a dormer. over on the other side. However, I'm still missing a couple of things. I need that back wall on there. So what I could do to copy that over is reselect the roof, hide it in view again, select this back wall, do a mirror, and then mirror it right on over. Okay, so now I have a back wall. Next thing I need is I still don't have the shaft that I cut right here, and actually an easy way to do that would just be to select the roof, hide it temporarily, and click on the dormer tool, select the roof, and now select, if it'll let me select the interior lines. There we go. Now clean up our corners. Check mark. We're good. Now we can reset that. Now we have two dormers. And hopefully we got two windows too. I didn't check to see if the window copied over. Yes, we did. So now we've got a house. We've got two dormers on it. Looks pretty cool. I like it. Okay, but anyway, that's part of what you're going to do in your final exam. I'll have another video that explains a little bit more about what's going to be on the final exam. Okay, so just study this and you'll know how to make a dormer.